How to develop more compassion and understanding for others and for yourself. Now, I know that this sounds probably like a pretty cheesy video topic, but honestly, this was one of my weakest points and has been one of my weakest points my whole life. And it's something that I've made considerable gains on ever since I started on the spiritual path when I was 17. I've put a lot of work into it. I'm still putting a lot of work into it. It's something I have a lot of improvement to do. And I wanted to make this video really to reinforce these concepts for myself, but also to share them with you. And the reason being is that we have so many opportunities every single day for all of us where we're frustrated, angry, annoyed, or where we have someone do something bad to us. And there's so many opportunities to have more compassion and understanding for other people. And the reason why it's important is that anytime you're holding on to negative energy or frustration or anger or judgmental or critical thoughts towards someone, you're literally weakening your entire body, you're weakening your immune system, you're shutting off your body's positive responses, you're creating more stress, it's taking up energy and time and focus away from yourself. And conversely, to me, I think that compassion and understanding is a bridge that leads to forgiveness and love. So I think that when you develop compassion and understanding for someone, it's very easy to walk over to have love and forgiveness for them. And I think that we all know scientifically that the more love and forgiveness that's in your life, the less stress you have, the more happy you are, and the better that you feel, the better the world is. And I think that's what we're all looking for. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you guys a few basic spiritual dictums or truths. And basically the concepts that can come out of that, the practices that can come out of that to have more compassion and understanding for others, and maybe most importantly, for yourself. So the first spiritual truth is that no one can really be any different than they actually are right now. Everything that has led up to this point in your life or anyone else's life has made them who they are, and if they could be any different, they would be different. In reality, everyone is actually doing the best that they can with the information that they have. And I think that a lot of times when we're frustrated, angry, annoyed at someone, we're always working in hypotheticals. So we're always thinking, hey, this person should be different, or they could be different, or this person knows better, or they know that that would frustrate me or annoy me, or that was so inconsiderate, or why didn't they do this differently? And we're always working in the hypothetical. We're always working under the assumption that they could be different, that they know better, that it's easy for them to be different. But in reality, if they could be better, they would be better. Everyone's actually doing the very best that they can. The second thing that we have to understand is that humans are always projecting. And I'm sure that everyone watching this video, you have all probably heard of this, but oftentimes in human life on Earth, we feel so many negative sensations. We feel so many unprocessed lower emotions that we're not really sure what to do with. And we end up getting triggered, and that's an opportunity for us to project and to release and to let go of that negative energy and try to put it on someone else or on a situation or on unfairness or victimhood or whatever it may be. It's never really personal. So a lot of times when we're getting annoyed with our coworkers or with strangers or family members, it's never actually personal. We're always thinking about the content. So maybe you're holding the door open for someone and they get really upset at you and you're trying to just be nice and you're like, oh, I was just holding the door open. You're thinking about the content, the actual experience, but it's not personal. It's not really about that. Really, that person just had a lot of unrepressed emotion or repressed emotions that they were unable to process, and that was an opportunity for them to get triggered and for them to project that outside of themselves. So I think that when we understand this, we can really start to have understanding and compassion for people and really start to put ourselves in other people's shoes. So if you're in a situation where someone annoys you or you get frustrated or you get upset, it's really an opportunity to go, wow, I feel so much compassion and understanding for that person because they must be really stressed out if Because truly, if someone gets upset over something that's very quote unquote minor, it's probably because they have a lot that they're dealing with. They have a lot on their plate. It's not really personal. They have so much going on, and they were just trying to get to work, or they were trying to just do their thing, and they misunderstood what I was trying to do, and they got upset because of that, and I totally understand where they're coming from. So it's kind of like this practice of faking it until you make it. When you really start to try to put yourself in that person's shoes and understand it from their perspective, because oftentimes as well, humans have a bias. So we're always thinking about ourselves. We're always coming from our own point of view, our own perception. We're always thinking that everyone is against us or that we're correct and everyone else is wrong, which obviously isn't true. Everything that I'm saying applies to me and applies to you. We're always in this state of projection, and we make the same mistakes that everyone else makes. We're also doing the best that we can given what we have. We're always really just, trying to do our best. So I think that when we start to put ourselves in other people's shoes, it can start to bridge this compassion understanding that kind of comes out of faking it until you make it. So the next spiritual truth that I'm gonna speak on is a pretty crazy concept, and it's this idea that if humans knew the true realization, like the true reality of karma and what karma is, they would never do anything bad ever. And this is a pretty striking statement because it's basically implying the fact that if humans really knew the consequences of negative behavior, they would never engage in negative behavior. So again, with the whole idea of living in the hypothetical, even when people are doing things that are immoral or illegal or are abusive to other people, they really don't know any better. We can say, well, hey, that's the law. You know that you were disobeying the law. You know you shouldn't be doing that. But in reality, that person didn't really know they shouldn't be doing that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing that if they really knew the reciprocal nature of the universe and of karma, the law of karma. They wouldn't really engage in that behavior in the first place. So I have to put in a caveat. I'm not saying to condone illegal or abusive behavior towards yourself, but you can have compassion and understanding for that person, which leads to love and forgiveness. I think that we should absolutely stand up for ourselves, be assertive. We should be very good at cutting relationships out or negative relationships or negative people, standing up for ourselves and really honoring ourselves in that respect. But if you look around, there are thousands of case studies of people who have had horrible things done to them, and they've actually been able to accept and forgive the person who did that. And through that process, they were able to free themselves. So it's a really difficult concept to enact in real life, but it's a very important one. And the last spiritual truth that I'm going to touch on, number 6, I think, is that there is no such thing as a justified resentment. And this is really difficult. This is a difficult pill to swallow because, again, we're always thinking about ourselves. We're always in our own ego, and it can feel like, yeah, there is a justified resentment, or this person did do this thing that was wrong, or I'm totally justified in feeling that way about them. But the concept behind this is that if you're in a state of resentment, you're in a state of negativity, you're in a state of anger, you're in a state of disliking someone, you're in a state basically where you're cutting off the spiritual flow, you're cutting off your energy, you're in a negative state, and it's not helping you. It's not helping the other person, it's not helping the world around you. And I think that if we think about any high spiritual teacher, it's easy to see that they don't exist in a state of resentment ever. I'm not religious, and if you're not religious, you can even look at Christ or the Christ. And what is the Christ? Well, the Christ is pure love, forgiveness, compassion, understanding. And if you think of Christ, you can't really think of a resentment existing inside of that energy. And I think it's a really good example to think of because oftentimes we think that our resentments are so justified, but in truth, there's no such thing as a justified resentment. Again, not saying that I have perfected this, but I think it's a good mantra to kind of repeat to yourself as you're going through the process of trying to have compassion and understanding for that other person. And so finally, like I said, we're always projecting, so it's an amazing opportunity to love, forgive, accept, and have compassion and understanding for ourselves. Because really, if you ignored other people and if you only had unconditional compassion and understanding for yourself, I think automatically you would be a very compassionate and understanding person to all those around you because you would stop projecting the self-hatred or the self-dislike that so many people have and are walking around with at all times. So guys, I hope you guys liked this video and that this was helpful to you. Again, I am not a master at this. I am not even that good at this. It's something that I'm working on a lot as well. And I want to make this video really just to help you guys out and to help myself out through that process. And finally, it's been actually about a month since I've shot a video for this YouTube channel. I had a lot of videos that were on backlog that have been posting, and I kind of ran out of creative juices for a while, but I'm back. And I really appreciate everyone that's ever commented on any one of these videos, because that has given me juice over the past few weeks, because I've seen, just people commenting so many positive remarks and statements and saying that the videos have helped them. And that's really inspiring to me to know that some people are watching these and that they're being helped from this. And I would love, if anyone feels like commenting on this video, I would fully welcome that. And I just speak huge blessings to anyone that has ever commented before. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week. Ciao.